Boom, 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 boom. SEO this week, episode 215. Hello, everyone. How you doing? Starting off a little late today. It's Monday. It's my first show back after the mastermind in Las Vegas. Let me tell you, I didn't get COVID, but you know how it is. You're not around a whole lot of people, and then you start getting around people. You get feel a little off, feel a little funny. So probably fighting off. I don't necessarily say it's the flu. It just, it's funny. But that is what it is. As always, if you want to call in, it's 888-586-1680. 888-586-1680. Phone's hooked up. If you are on the Skype, you can reach out to me at clint.a.butler. Connect with me on Skype. Let me know in the chat, especially if you're watching live. Let me know in the chat that you did it so that I can actually look in the Skype app and approve you, and then I'll let you know that you're going to get a call. And ask your questions live. Let's see. What else we got going on? We don't have a lot going on this week. I guess the big news in SEO this week is that the H1 stuff. Let's see here. Everhart, hello. Good morning. Business growth ready. Hello. Hello. How are you, sir? Let's see. Chat's all set up. So I'll make a confession. It's pretty funny, actually. I started the show on time, and then I did 15 minutes of the show. Probably even more. Actually, I'll be honest. I did like 30, 40 minutes of the show. And then I looked in the YouTube dashboard, and it said, click to go live. I was streaming through OBS, and I was chatting away about nothing. I was making crap up the entire time, so you didn't miss anything. And I thought I was talking to all you guys, and you're all just ignoring me, and no one was talking, no one was viewing me. And in truth, I just hadn't pushed the go live button. So technically, I started SEO this week on time. Damn it! It just, you guys weren't there. It was a one man show, one man for myself. So that's pretty funny. That's my laugh of the day. Let's see. All right. So news-wise, titles inside of Google SERPs are being changed, and Google is using the H1s. I've seen that, and that's actually pretty old. But I've seen that for my own two eyes, and I've seen it going on, and it has been happening for a while. I think they actually started it with YouTube stuff because it's a platform that they got a hold of and they can use. And so they were changing this stuff inside of YouTube. And that made sense, right? And now they're doing it for the Google SERPs. I've heard of or seen claims that they were using things like file name and putting the file name in the title. I've seen claims that they were dynamically creating titles just out of the blue. However, I've never seen anyone actually say, here's the instance of where that's happening. Not showing us the keyword, not showing the URL, not showing the title, not, a screenshot, nothing. They're just like, take my word for it. It works. This is what's going on. And, I'm not calling people liars, but I want to see it so that we can, check it out and see if it's happening and if we can make an honest report out of it. Because just one person saying they've seen it without a screenshot does not make fact. So if you have an instance of that where you're seeing a changing of your title, they're not using your H1, and or they're using some random part of your site, your page, let me know. If they're dynamically generating your title just totally out of the blue, and the title that they picked is not in your code, let me know. I want to see it. I want to see what they're doing. That'd be pretty interesting stuff to know. Don't you guys think? I think so. I think it'd be awesome to know. So that's there. The other one that people are reporting, in particular, overseas search results, is a sub snippet in the search results. So what I'm saying is, they'll show a page. This page is relevant, and then they'll indent and have another page from that website that is also showing that it is also relevant. Every screenshot that I've seen of that is their authority sites, right? And I'll call them authority sites, but really what I'm seeing is it's a lot of directories that's happening to or for, and I think that's really, really, really bad for us. If, let's say, Home Advisors, Angie's List, Yelp, or whatever gets 2 listings, and then real businesses get pushed out of the search results almost entirely. Now, I have spoken ad nauseum about how Google is pushing and using the search results and pushing directories to increase the amount of ads that local businesses have to use if they want to generate revenue from the Googles. And if they do that, I think that'll be just kind of one more, hey, this is for sure, this is what they're doing. And they're deliberately manipulating the search results and the presentation of the search results to drive local businesses over. Which is, that's shitty for a local business, right? Those ads, there's only so much space. 4 on top, 3 on bottom, then the first page. And the CTR is costing more and more and more and more. And so with this change in the search results, I think that could be pretty significant. And hopefully they don't implement that site-wide. Hopefully that's just a test that they're messing with, and it's going to go away. I'm crossing my fingers, hopefully. I mean, they test a lot of stuff, right? But do they is it going to stick around? And I hope not. Let's see, there's Everhard. Good day, Everhard. Everhard is from, I want to say, New Zealand. I don't know, he tells me every time we talk. Australia, New Zealand. I think he's an alien. It could be possible. He's a really smart dude. Let's see. So that one's kind of scary from a local business perspective. I'm gonna keep an eye on it, see how long it sticks out, and see what happens with it, and see if it shows up in the U.S. search results. I haven't seen it in the U.S. search results. All the images that I've seen, are you Canadian? I am actually dual citizen. I am American and Canadian, so technically yes. So yeah, I want to keep an eye on that. I actually want to see if I can put together a nice article and try to get a little bit of exposure in some of the mainstream media things too about the topic and how Google is performing. I know the big thing was, they're suppressing political views that they don't like, and suppressing facts that they don't like, and suppressing opinions that they don't like. But I think this is more the real story from an economic perspective, from a business perspective, and what they're doing. I mean, you have a 38 billion was the last quarter's quarterly report that they made. Right, so if they're making $38 billion, they can at least throw local sites a bone and put a couple of the top 10 to be local sites, not make it worse so that all the directories are populated in there, etc. And I think they should be called out for that. So we'll see where that goes. What else do I have to ramble on about? Like I said, I did this episode twice now because I forgot to push go live. Let's see. If you want to call in, 888-586-1680, or hit me on Skype, clint.a.butler. Let me know in the chat, and then I will answer on Skype, connect if we're not already connected, etc., etc., and then we can chat it up. Let's see, what else is going on? Oh, I talked about the conferences. We got NFG is coming up. The end of September, I'll be there speaking at that. Brad Mayberry and Mike Pierce put that on. I think Corey Rose, he's going to be there. Ted Capita is going to be there. Joshua Fletcher is going to be there. I believe Holly Starks is going to be there. Don't quote me on that. And a couple other people. The format is pretty interesting. So they're going to start essentially from A to B or A to Z, as it were, and each of these speakers' presentations will be given in a way that it kind of like, here's the on page, and then the schema, and then the link building, right? So it's going to flow from first to back versus a bunch of random topics, which I think is pretty interesting for it's just a small conference. I don't think there's going to be all that many people there, to be honest. And we're not talking Chiang Mai here or something, right? So, but it's going to be good, and that's in Greensboro, South Carolina. Greensboro, South Carolina, I believe it is. At the Marriott, the downtown Marriott. So it's going to be fun. And then my next conference will be SEO Rockstars. We'll be having that at the Tropicana in Vegas. That's mid-November. No idea who Dory's going to have speaking this year. I'm looking forward to seeing who comes out of that. I know I'll be presenting, but I don't know who Dory's got lined up for speakers. And she's going to Vegas. She's going to be in Hawaii all week too. So she's not only is she in Hawaii chillaxing right now. I have no idea who the speakers are, and we're all in bated anticipation going to see that list. But I mean, she's got a knack for finding new people who have great ideas and stuff, right? So she found Kyle Roof. She found Josh Brzezinski, and those two built great businesses for themselves on the back of that. So let's see who else she finds. And I'm looking forward to seeing that speakers list. I'll let you know when I know. Let's see. Everard's going to be on the online version. Yeah, we're showing Rockstars is going to be online and live. The live one that's where I'll be hanging out. I mean, I'm just not I think I'm kind of fed up with online. I mean, I'm an internet marketer, right? But I just, online conferences just don't do it for me anymore. I think the live version is going to be good. I especially appreciate the VIP day because you get to meet everybody and you get this, start building that relationship. And by the end of the conference, you've met some people and you've established maybe even some business relationships. If anything, you've got some good things to implement in your own business, etc. And that, something that I think would a lot of people can appreciate. The online version, I'm not even sure how that's going to work because like last year, I think we had the tables we were using Terry Samuel's Remo. pretty positive we're not going to do that again. More than likely, it's going to be live streaming, probably through GoToWebinar. You guys are going to miss out on the interactions and all that other stuff. If it wasn't a live conference and I wasn't in Las Vegas, I maybe even would get on with you folks and see you on a Zoom or something like that. We'll see how that works out, or maybe do that when I'm home. I don't know. But you will all be missing out on that experience of the networking. But not everyone wants to travel. It's a personal decision you got to make, right? So I get it. I'm just saying. The heart wants what the heart wants. Oh, what else? What the hell else is going on? There's not much else going on this week. I don't have a topic to talk about. GoPro strapped to your head. I have to do that because if you guys call, I can't hear you unless the phone is hooked up. And if I use the computer audio through the road and you talk on the phone, it'll play through my audio and it creates a nice cool feedback loop, which is really annoying. So I got to use the headset. But I got the hat. I don't know what you're talking about there, Baldy. Let's see. What else is going on? What else? I don't know. No good news. I already talked about the two big topics of the week. There's some smattering around about updates, but every time someone farts, there's an update, and people are asking, is there an update? I mean, Google is always changing things, so there's always an update. Get off the internet and stop crying about the update and go do SEO and do it right, and you won't even have to worry about updates. Let's see. Yeah, see, Everhart, he mentioned the same thing. In Australia, seeing Google take the same listing and present it more than one time in the SERPs with different passages or indent different pages from the same route. So, yeah. Yeah, it's... I mean, if... In local, right, Everhart? That's all the examples I've seen in local. And if that's where they're gonna go with local, it's going to favor the Yelps and the big directory sites, and that's going to push down local businesses, and I think that's bad for local business. And it's Google's continuing war on small business in order to drive them to PPC. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything else. No, nothing else. Well, take heart. When I was speaking earlier and I hadn't pressed go live, I didn't say anything of any experience or anything special. Versus this time. Next week, I will actually have a planned topic. I just kind of winging it this week. Next week, we'll do web page schema. That'll carry us over from the website schema that we did. We'll do web page schema and show you some things about that you can leverage a little bit better to improve your rankings using schema generation. And that'll be good. Let's see. Jeremy, do you use PPC? If so, when and for what purpose? I primarily use PPC to test SEO keywords, especially if a client has specific targeting needs. Like if you're targeting all of Portland, for example, I'm not going to do a PPC campaign. I know that there's probably search traffic, right? And if you already have a PPC campaign running, that's perfect. It's already there. I know it's If you're narrowed down to a small city, like a really tiny city, and you give me a set of keywords, and I'm probably going to run PPC to actually see if there's some rankings, and not the rankings, but some impressions and some traffic there. And so that's going to, that's weird. And that'll just kind of save you some time, money, and effort, right? So if you're, and I've given that example plenty of times, ductless heat pumps versus ductless heating and cooling, 14,000 versus 0, and the actual targeting in the city was like significantly different. 0, the 14,000 keyword has 0 traffic, and the 0 traffic had like 250 searches a day or something like that. But that's what I use PPC for. I've also messed with it for grants. So I've done a few clients with that had PPC grants from the Google Grants program, and that's fun. But the system that they made that a change to that now, where you had to use the machine learning system inside of the Google Ads. You couldn't like freehand it. You couldn't do SCAGs, and there's a few other rules that go along with the Google Grants program now that kind of just made that it sucked. I mean, you learn a lot about the machine stuff, and you learn that you don't want to actually give them real money to do that. But if you're using their 10K, then it's great to learn with. So in what, 50-50 kind of good, bad kind of relationship there. But Facebook, I want to dig into more. Dino Gomez, I bought his course. I honestly haven't had any time to apply it, right? I spend so much time working on clients that I don't get to do home training stuff. My relaxation during the week is actually this show and SEO Fight Club. The rest of the time I'm just doing client stuff. Let's see. So, yeah, that's Facebook PPC. Twitter I never messed with. LinkedIn never messed with, but I heard it just from my talking to people that use LinkedIn. Just from talking to people that have used LinkedIn, it's not very good. That was my Skype from Madge calling me. I swear he did that during the show on purpose. Let's see. Everhart, a big WordPress theme updated and messed up CSS. Half the sites I was working with had white text on colored background. The CSS blew out the text and became white on white background. Would that be considered cloaking? I mean, yeah, that's HTML cloaking in its purest form. It's cloaking the text. You can do some tests. I can tell you from testing that Google still reads that. Google still counts it as ranking. You can boost up a page. A lot of people say Google's beyond finding that out, but I mean, at one point, if they were able to find that, now they can't. Let's see. Just because Madge called me. Let me see what happens. I'm going to call him back. Jerk. Madge, you are live on SEO this week. How are you?
Am I?
Yeah. You want to call me during my show? I'm calling you back during my show.
How are you, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good, mate. I'm doing good. Shit, man. I didn't know you were on SEO this week, right now.
Uh-huh. The same. Every week you're like, oh, I got to watch your show. This is what you get.
Oh, nice. How's everyone? What's the topic for today?
Oh, I don't have one. I'm making it up. So we'll make you the topic. We're going to talk about Madge. That's Madge's favorite topic is Madge. So, actually, you have magicpr.net. I've bragged about you quite some time, or quite a few times.
Let me close the door, Clint. One second.
Oh, no. There's no preparing.
No, I've got my daughter in the other room, man. So
there's no preparing for the show. You want to disturb my show by calling me, you're going to... No preparing. You got to freehand it.
I'm in space, so I don't have your schedule every day, do I?
Yeah. Every Monday,
Yeah, so,
2 p.m. Pacific. Where you at, man? Anyway, so tell us about what's going on with the latest and greatest over at Magic PR.
With Magic PR, we have a new premium distribution service, a new network, which includes AP News, Globe Newswire, Yahoo News, Yahoo Finance, and so forth. So you get a lot of authoritative links. Not only some of them come with do follow links, but these are permanent premium distribution links. Not that a lot of people offer right now. If they do, they offer a 3 to 6 month time frame, and then they slowly but surely die off. With Magic PR, it's totally different, where I sign contracts where I can assure my members that they will end up with permanent links. There's only one distribution channel that I'm with that only allows 120 days right now, and that's around 40 links. But in total, each PR ends up with around 300 to 400 links. But again, you got the 50% of very authoritative links, and the other 50% where I can do a lot of juicy iframing.
Yeah.
So I've got a nice combination on that front.
Yeah, so that's kind of like compared to everyone else, right? So let's say, I don't know, we'll just I won't say a brand, but let's say we're talking about.
You can if you want. I don't mind.
All right. Well, fuck it. Why not? Let's just say Quantum. So you have Quantum. You're getting what, 40 to 50 syndications. I know a lot of people say that they work great and they stack them and all that stuff. Where you're doing a couple hundred. And how would Magic PR stand out compared to Quantum? I mean, you're syndicating to the same sites that Quantum does, right?
Yeah. So the network I was just referring to, that is the same network that Quantum, Newswire. I don't think they're called Quantum anymore.
Yeah.
Or whatever name is now calling the business. Yes, they only have that one distribution network, which I've had from literally 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And they have about 40 to 50 links. And they purge, I don't know what timescale or what contract Lane has signed up with them. But the biggest difference between Magic PR and Quantum is not just the amount of links, Clint, it's the way I do things.
Yeah.
So everyone who opens a PR business opens it from a PR perspective, whereas I set up Magic PR from an SEO perspective. If it benefits my clientele from an SEO ranking point of view, then I will utilize them. By combining SEO and PR makes a big difference. With my background is SEO, it's not PR.
Right.
Working with the right distribution networks and asking them the right questions is, how are you going to benefit my Magic PR if I signed a contract with you guys? How will you benefit my members? I don't look at Magic PR, I look at each individual client. So how can I benefit that business, and how could we help them rank a lot, not quicker, but
quicker, right?
a lot higher than
Yeah,
where they currently are.
Yeah. So you're part of I would argue that press releases in general should be part of a basic link building campaign. And not because they always have a whole lot of value, but more so that it's kind of expected to be there. Like, this is what real businesses do, and they market. And part of that marketing is sending out press releases. In theory, if you're big enough, you just write a press release, put it on your website, and everyone else writes about you, right? So Twitter, Facebook, and all them, those guys fart, and then the news media is all over them. In this case, it's you as a local business got to do it yourself, so you create the PR, and the side benefit is backlinks. You are creating backlinks to the PRs. How many of those, like you talked about the couple hundred, or we'll just say 100 really high quality ones, sites that are linking to you, that are linking from your PR, that are syndicating your PR. Do you have this system where you're building backlinks to help increase the power of that? So where are you linking those to? Where's your system pointed at? That's what I'm asking.
So, once we've got the distribution out, I typically wait around 10 days, so a lot of the links are already indexed in Google. Okay, and once I know a majority of the authoritative links are already indexed, we then get my team to do a backlinking campaign to the actual PR, not to the client site. We do it actually to the PR. So we don't target one PR link, guys. We target around 5 different powerful PR sites that you are listed on.
Right.
So it could be AP News, it could be Yahoo News, it could be Globe Newswire. So these properties I'm referring to are DR90 plus properties. Okay, and 2 of them that I've just mentioned come with do follow links and permanent links. And a lot of the times these authoritative links will end up on page 1 for your actual brand, and will end up on page 1 for either the keyword that you're targeting.
Yeah.
Because that's how powerful they are. So we do a full Google Drive stack. We do a full cloud stack. We also do we build a G site. I don't use Blogger. We've stopped using Blogger for over 9 to 12 months now.
Good.
Yeah. One, because when SIA ended up doing that test, confirmed that it was not helping at all. So we ended up ditching Blogger last year, but having everything else in Google Drive. But once you've done that combination, you talk about Quantum doing a stack. The reason I brought out Magic PR was about PR stacking.
Yeah.
Because I've got a unique way of doing it, which is through iframing and through Google Drive stacking and all that. When you combine the links, you combine it with the SEO, put everything together, you're not only getting links, initial links, but you're also getting drip fed links back to that power of that authority site.
Yeah.
That's pointing back to your site. So it's an ongoing process. So my clients will message me 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, saying, "Oh, Madge, this is the results that we've seen." And clear, the last time I did a promotion for Magic PR or a webinar about Magic PR was the last time was with yourself in 2019.
Yeah.
I've promoted it since then. I'd rather have people speak highly of it. If it works for them, then I know I'm doing something right, and I like business coming that way. So it keeps Magic PR on its toes, and it keeps me on my toes, making sure I provide a service which will keep changing the game. And I've been speaking to you recently that I'm bringing out a plugin.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't get ahead of me. So stacking. Let's talk about the stacking concept, right? So essentially what we're talking about is I buy a Magic PR press release. Mm-hmm. You do all the syndication, do all your things. And then I buy the next one. And the idea is, right, that second PR that I buy would link to the high PR domains from the first one. Is that correct? Is that the concept of the PR stacking is? You know it?
Sorry, say that again. So you broke up a bit. Because I'm on Skype, by the way.
So PR stacking.
Yeah.
I do one PR for magicpr.net. It links to my money page. Mm-hmm. And I want to stack press releases. So I buy another press release. Does that second press release syndication link to the first press release syndication? Or does it also link to the money site? What is your idea of PR stacking?
Okay, so the first one, I typically get a lot of my clients, again, depending on the budget and the package that they end up purchasing. If you're a brand new company and you want to do a PR, I recommend you do a brand related PR. Okay. So the first PR would be targeting the brand and the brand only. You won't be targeting any inner page or any other type of keyword. Once that branded campaign's gone out, the second PR campaign that we do, yes, it links back to the previous one, Clint, to answer your question, and not only links back to the previous PR, but it also links to an inner page on the client's site. So the topic chosen for the second PR is for a different page. It's not targeting the homepage again, because you're then repeating the process of a first PR, which would be, in my eyes, pointless in doing. You'd rather target inner page and a term that you're trying to target on page 1 for.
Yeah.
So you're combining the second one and embedding the first one into the second one, okay, and linking to it. So you're getting best of both worlds. So when we do the SEO campaign for the first one, I will embed that into your second PR campaign. So Googlebot ends up on that PR page and ends up not only just seeing those links to the second PR, but also sees all the links to the first previous PR that we did.
Yeah.
And then you're building that relationship, aren't you? So the reason I build an organization page, I build an SEO stack on, the cloud, which will again build. It's the relationship between everything. For local, we'll end up getting our clients doing a GMB post, building a GMB business site, and combining all that inside of the PR as well.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got to build that relationship and that entity between everything. If you're just doing a PR for the sake of doing one, you're not going to see no results from that. So you got to really think outside the box as to how it can benefit you from a business point of view and from an SEO point of view.
Yep. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So let's transition over to this new. Well, actually, let's go to your course. So there's a lot of people that were talking about, and it's kind of the SEO flavor of the week was Google News sites. Harley Stark famously came out with that network. She got sued for her network because of the content and stuff. But the concepts behind that are still accurate to this day. So you create a new site, you get it approved in publisher, it's on Google News, and now you're in Google News. How hard is it to manage? I don't know how many sites. I think you have 50, 75 that are in your own personal network that are in Google News. How hard is it to manage all of those?
I have now 250 sites.
250 sites.
Anyway, it's not difficult. Again, it's individual preference and what your end goal with the Google News site is, right?
Right.
Whether you're trying to build a network or you're trying to build a small little niche network to look at whether you have an agency, a lead gen network of your own, a lead gen network or affiliate sites. You want to build a Google News network that fits your needs. So you may want 10 sites, you may want 1,000 sites. Again, budget dependent. How big do you want it? It's not difficult to handle, but again, I don't think a lot of people out there need more than 10 to 15 sites.
Right.
Okay. As long as you've got domains that are authoritative, you've gone and done your due diligence on each domain that you want to purchase, they've got a bit of traffic, they've got a bit of power, then why would you need more than 10, 15 domains in the first place?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we know Holly loves to go all out. She went, she whatever she gets into, whether it's smartphones or whether it's Google News, she goes all out. And not everybody wants to compete on her level. I especially don't. I'm happy with my 250 sites. I haven't built one for myself for over two and a half months now. It's not that we can't build them. I don't need any more. I'm happy with the amount that I have. If I find I say one thing back. I'm now building a network for the UK market. I've built a large network for the US. I want to build one for the UK now.
Okay.
So the Google News course came out back in January, I think. It did well. I ended up doing a live training course, and I want to not share to people how to do it, but I want to share the benefits of a Google News site, which again, Claire, I don't think a lot of people realize the benefits of it. They assume they do, but they don't really see the major benefits of having a Google News network. Okay, a lot of people say yes, Google News, but they don't really get the concept of why would they want to build a Google News network.
So why would they want to do it?
Okay. I'll agree with that. One major reasons is whatever you post on that network or on any of your Google News sites, they end up indexing instantly. I'm talking within seconds. You leave it, you post an article. So you post an article and you link it to a page that isn't getting indexed in Google. Beautiful way of you getting it indexed is through a Google News site, because Googlebot will end up on that site, on that page instantly. So my newsroom for Magic PR is Google News approved. So any PR that we promote or we publish, sorry, on our site, it ends up indexing within a couple of seconds. And then having a network of 250 sites, now I'm drip feeding those. I'm not instantaneously adding it to each site. They're being scheduled and drip fed over on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Right. So every time it goes onto another domain, that page and that PR is being not only getting added to Google News, but it's being recrawled by Googlebot again.
Correct.
So that PR is being rechecked over and over and over again. This is why I'm a big believer of syndication and not RSS. And we'll get to what I've built in a second, but that's one of the benefits. The other benefit is the referring traffic that you'll end up with. You'll end up on Google News tab. You'll end up on the iOS, Android app, Google Discover. I know I've missed one now. News.google.com as well. So your domain's being added to so many different attributes, and Google News is only going to get powerful depending on what Google ends up doing with it in the future. I know they're doing something different in the UK now. They've started something new, but I can't really remember what. And you'll end up on a top story. As long as that story is compelling or the article's compelling, it will end up as a top story on the first page of Google. So there's a major benefit of having a Google News site.
Yeah.
So whether it's your own domain, whether it's a subdomain, I teach you both ways. I can teach you of getting a domain approved for a subdomain, whether a normal domain. And it doesn't matter if it's an auction domain, a brand new domain, an expired domain. You take your pick. We can help you get it approved. Any other questions on Google News?
What about directory? So domain.com/news. Have you done one of those yet?
Yeah, done.news I've done. .net, .orgs, .com.
No. Directory in the file structure. So you have subdomains. News.domain.com. What about directories, which is domain.com/news?
I've not done it that way yet.
Okay.
But I've done only subdomains and normal domains for now.
Interesting.
But that is possible as well, I see.
Do you recommend someone, if they wanted to have their own network, should they niche it down or they go general so they can leverage it for whatever they want to? What is your preferred way? Like, you're doing a PR service, so you don't niche down, right? But I mean, you could if you wanted to, but
I could do, yeah. But I like to keep it generalized. But again, it depends on the individual circumstances. So I've spoken to members where they have only clients in a particular niche. Then I go, okay, then keep it niche specific. If you have clients in all, so imagine you look after local. You may have plumbers, locksmiths, roofers, or whatever may be the case, or legal clients. Then why would you want to niche down? You want to promote and post about anybody from your clientele base, right? Rather than building one specific niche network, you're only allowed to post about that specific network. You're really holding yourself down. Whereas if you create a generalized network, you can then not only help your existing clients, but any new client you get on board, you can say straight away, by the way, I have my own Google News network here, which I will be promoting and posting articles on your behalf and getting links back to your domain through our network.
Right.
And you may have 10, 15, 20 domains in there already. But people may be thinking, Clint, having a 15, 20 Google News network, posting manually to each one takes a lot of time and effort. And it costs money if you end up with having VAs, right? Whether it's using AI content, whether it's, in gathering content from elsewhere or writing unique content, everything adds up to money, doesn't it? So this is where I love to speak about what I've built.
Ooh, you're plugging.
Yeah. I'm excited to share this with you. It is now fully working. It's been working for the last 5 weeks, but I've just been so busy I've not been able to get it out there yet. But what we've ended up building is a plugin where you would manually post to one domain, and it will basically go and republish that post for you with the contextual links, with the iframes, with the video images, whatever you have on that post.
Yeah.
It will not. It's not using RSS, guys. It will syndicate that post across your entire network by you just clicking a button inside of WordPress. So it's a WordPress plugin that we've built. It only works with WordPress for now, and it basically works like a treat. So you click a button, you can schedule it. So imagine you want that post to go out a week from now on a particular time. It will go out on that time. There's no ifs, there's no buts. I've tried it, I've tested it for the last 6 weeks, and I've not had egg on my face once yet. So
nice.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Now, is that hooked up? It's like, I know I have a network of 10 sites, and my 10 sites, minus one because I broke it because I changed the theme on it, is syndicates from whatever you publish for your clients. So someone buys magicpr.net and they're getting links from my 10 sites. Can you connect both your plugins so that I can have my master site and get the syndications from magicpr.net?
Okay, so what? Yes and no. So, so what? We've built the initial plugin where the main plugin will sit on your manual site where you'll be posting.
Right.
And that article will go across your 10 sites, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Once that's happened, you could keep repeating the process. So imagine, I'll give you an example, Clint. Imagine you've got 5 clients now, right? And you want to benefit from each. So imagine each of those 5 clients, you end up building a subdomain on each of those clients' sites.
Right.
So client A is pressroom.clint.com. The second one's pressroom.clint.a.com. Whenever you manually post on any of those 2 press rooms, and by the way, those press rooms will be Google News approved, okay? Whenever you post anything manually on any of those 2 domains, they will go out to your 10 sites. So those 10 sites can be linked to not just one manual site. It could be linked to more than one manual site, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's what the main plugin does. We're now building a plugin where, imagine you struggle to find content and say, Madge, yes, we've built 10 sites, but I don't want to waste my time in finding content and distributing it across my 10 sites. Can you do it? Can you help us out there? And the answer very soon will be yes, where anything on my newsroom, and if you're in a particular niche and you say, Madge, I only want legal clients or your legal press releases that you've done, push to my network. We can do that for you too. Okay. So we can push any category to your manual site, whereas when you log into your manual site, you click the button, everything will be there. So, by the way, you're not just creating a post, you're creating an organization page to sit alongside the post. Okay, so you're building again that relationship between the post and the entity page.
Yeah.
And you're telling Google, this post is about this business, right? And that process is being repeated across 10 sites. It's taken us close to 6 months to build. And I know we've been talking about it a lot longer. But again, I wanted to make it, I wouldn't say perfect it, but make it in a way where nobody else has ever seen something like this before. And I think I've got to it where it now, whoever I've showed so far has been amazed, which is really, I've had really, really good feedback about it so far.
Yep.
Which is good. But the icing on the cake will be when the newsfront will be able to syndicate its content to anyone's network.
Yeah.
So you could have content coming in on the fly every single time. You may already have clients with me saying, Madge, I already post, we've done PRs for this X, Y, and Z client. Could you please publish those articles onto my network? So your client is benefiting from more juice. So they're getting juice from in my opinion, on 4 different directions. So those 4 directions are, if you've done a PR with Magic PR, you'll get a standard distribution juice. You'll get our premium distribution depending on which package you end up with. You'll end up on my Google News network. Your client will then also end up on your network. So they're getting 4 different directions of power coming back to that press room. So that's the big idea. I know I've built my own newsroom, and I know a lot of other PR companies have their own newsroom. But no one's ever thought of a newsroom the way I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking you're each individual client. It could be an affiliate site. It could be your own e-commerce site. It could be your client site. Having a press room that's Google News approved, and then having a network sit alongside that press room, it just makes it a very powerful asset.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I'm hoping that the second plugin will be ready for me, not for you guys, for my site within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that part.
It's good. It's exciting.
Demo whenever you got time, I could do a demo for you guys.
What about? I have one last question. So you have it on WordPress. Am I stuck to a theme that you want, or can I pick my own theme?
Yeah, I know this was one of your painstaking questions before. Yes, my plugin isn't plug and play, right? Now, the good news is it will work with any theme. But there's a little caveat with that, and that is if you know a bit of coding, and I don't mean major coding, I can't do it personally. I'm not a developer, I'm not a coder, but we will provide instructions. You can either give it to your coder or developer that you have on board, or you may say, I don't have one. Could you please help us out? And yes, Magic PR will help you out for a small little fee. We will do it for you. And it will end up working with that theme.
Right. Cool.
Right? It's a mind tweak that we need to do.
So that your customers don't have to pick; they can use whatever they fell in love with. They don't have to use whatever you like, right? So
when I decided to build this, just the way I decided to do the Google News course, I decided to do it on simple terms, as in, imagine the individual coming to SEO for the first time, doesn't know diddly squat about SEO, doesn't know nothing about Google News, doesn't know nothing about web development. Nor did I until I did that course. I showed you from layman terms, as in how to build a very basic WordPress site with the right pages and with the right posts. And I got good feedback on that. Now I built this plugin again on very simple terms. So when you log in, publishing a post on WordPress, it will look to you identical. We have not changed the interface of WordPress. We've added our plugin as an add-on where it will again drip feed. Or the other update that we've done recently is, imagine you've posted an article across your 10 sites and you forgot to add a contextual link, you forgot to add an image or a video. You can go back in, manually update your original money site, if you want to call it a money site. You've updated the money site. You then click the update button in the plugin. It will go and update every single site across your entire network on the fly.
Nice.
Drip fed. And if you end up with a client that decides, Clint, thank you for getting us on page 1, but we no longer want to pay you anymore, you do have a button that will be called Do Not Touch. If you end up touching that, it will remove their organization page and every single post that you've posted for that individual across your entire network removed with just clicking that button.
Yeah. I don't like doing that. What I like the idea of is, if I'm going to have sites, I want to have a linking program, kind of like what you have, right? So you're building backlinks to your PRs. And if I have 10 sites and I'm building backlinks to those pages, and now as it's processing news, and if I can edit everything that gets posted on my 10 sites that comes out of Magic PR or comes out of my feeder site, if I can edit those, now I have a built-in niche edit platform too. So instead of creating all new pages, I have this set of news network sites that I could use for niche edits across the board. versus most of what niche edits are. Most of those are hacked sites, right? And so let's be honest and say what it is. So the niche edits, a lot of those sellers are selling access to hacked websites, and then they hide your links inside of content that's already there in these hack sites and hope that no one finds them. That's primarily what the niche edits started out as. Now it's a different process. Hold on. It's a different process to get those. And most people are doing outreach now. But if you have your own news network, if Google's crawling these news sites and you update inside of your network with your one plugin, then you can do all 15, 20 sites. Those are perfect niche edits. You already did the work to build the links. You might as well take advantage of that stuff. So I like that. I like that idea better versus taken away. I mean, if a client pays for something, the client pays for it, right? So is it hurting you? I think it's actually a benefit to leave that stuff up because now you have built-in niche edits.
Yeah, this is why we ended up calling it "Do Not Touch," right? Because it's only going to be individuals or again personal preference on if you really like that client or if you don't. Or the individual may think, you know what, you're not going to pay me, fine. I'm going to hurt you.
Right.
But that's not the way I think, and that's not if they've paid for a service, you want to leave it there, right?
Yeah.
Leave the post live. But again, a client may turn around and say, or you may end up saying, "Oh, I don't like this article. I don't like it being published," or it's had a
you messed up and you did something silly or something.
It's had a negative effect on your rankings. So you can end up unpublishing that individual post across your entire network.
Yeah.
Rather than, unpublishing every single post, you can do individual posts as well.
Makes sense.
But I love the idea of updating every single post, a month from now, 6 months from now.
Yeah.
That's entirely. And you're right, Clint, there's a lot of use case scenarios for this plugin. I've heard people say, Madge, I want to build a guest posting network. I want to build a PBN network. I want to do this. I want to do that. And everyone's eager. And again, I don't know. I'm live right now, so I don't know. I'm still figuring out the price, and I'm hoping to have it live by this week.
Still figuring out the price. You have a recording out there somewhere. Where can they find that recording so they can watch your official presentation on this?
Well, if you want, I don't have an official recording of it, but if you want me to come on sometime soon and do a live demo of the plugin, I'll be more than happy to do that.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, if you're listening, you want to hear from Madge, let me know, and I'll schedule him to come on.
Sweet. Yeah, so Magic PR, that's the updates with Magic PR, and I can't believe you did this to me today.
Yeah. Well,
cool.
that's what you get. It's like the third week in a row you called during my show, so payback. Mofo.
I remember. 11:30 my time. Do not call Clint.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Speak soon.
You have a good day.
You too. Goodbye.
All right, everyone. That was Madge from Magic PR. Hopefully, you appreciate that. It's kind of get some things out of the way, especially the idea of PR stacking. I like it. I've used Madge for quite some time. I like using his stuff for maps because his PRs are one of the few services that allow, or at the time allowed map embeds. I think Press Advantage does it now. Press Cable and Quantum, obviously, I think you can do it with them too now. But Madge, from as far as I know, of all the services that I was using at the time, was the first one to do it. And he has that backlinking structure that just worked really well for map stuff. So I add them as part of my link building campaigns. When I create proposals, I already know $400 is going to Madge to do a PR a month. So, there's $400 SEO campaign right there, and all the backlinks and all the stuff. It's totally worth it. And hooking up and doing the stacks and stuff, it just kind of makes it easy, especially if you're in a pretty easy niche. You know what I mean? You don't need a whole lot of those. You can do one a month and call it good for some niches. Obviously, for others, you want to add some more power stuff like your PBNs or whatever. But for sure the PR stuff is down. The Google sites, I think the jury's still out. I have access to Holly's network. I can post 10 sites or get 10 links a day from Holly's network. I'm doing some testing on that, and I think it's more of a it depends on the amount of or the sites where the news is being published, right? So I'm not going to say domain authority, but for the backlinks that the pages get that are linking to your money site from those type of networks is the real value there. Obviously, you're not going to get some really great, wonderful domains these days. The domainers are there, but unless if you had a whole bunch of money, but if you don't, you're going to be limited to the types of domains you can buy for your own news network. But at the end of the day, I would argue that 15-20 is probably enough for you if you're on private network. I have 10, as we mentioned, and even then, Match could tell you that it's a hard time managing those things. And his plugin is going to make that a little bit easier. I won't be implementing that in my news sites until he gets the other plugin that he was talking about, where his news is syndicated to you. That, to me, there's value in having that news published. I tried to get my sites added to the Quantum Network, but Lean Hauk over there, he wasn't having it. I thought about reaching out to Chris at Press Cable and maybe the guy over at Press Advantage to see if I can get some of that stuff done too, hooked up in there. I think that'd be cool. There's those services I know are monitoring, or at least kind of quasi monitoring the quality of the press releases that come out of there. So you're not making trash sites. Using any of those services and resyndicating the stuff, and you're getting fresh content when you just don't have some stuff to publish. You're not going to publish every day on your news networks unless you put writers and all that madness in there. And I consult for a very nice team, and they're news publishers. That's what they're masters at. They're outstanding at it. And I'm not a news publisher, and I'm not going to do that. Do what they do for one site and multiply that by 20? No way. It ain't happening. But I can certainly do a lot of syndication stuff for networks like that. Press Advantage or Press Cable, and in particular MagicPR.net. He's the one that's really shown the difference in his PR services. I even tried to do a PR service myself at one point in time, reselling Cision, and I tell you, it's a lot of work for little in profit, especially when you don't own the network. And so, he charges more per press release, but I think you get more access to more syndication points, and he's not really profiting all that much. You got the VA fees, you got the syndication fees for all these other services that he's hooked up to. He's done all the research to find all these services, etc. So, hands down, in my opinion, MagicPR.net's got it down for SEO press releases. All right, and with that, I think we're going to call it a day. That's an hour. Roughly should be an hour. It was like 2:45 when I realized I hadn't pressed go live, and now it's 3:45, so it should have been an hour show. I appreciate all of you. If you have any questions on magicpr.net, go check it out. It's magicpr.net. You can reach him there. If you have me connected on Skype, clint.a.butler, and you want to talk to Madge directly, let me know. I'll hook you both up, I'll just give you his contact so you can find him. But it's Madge is what I got him, but I don't have his Skype name handy. And you can just reach out directly to him. It's good, dude. Otherwise, I will see you all next week at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Arizona time, 2 p.m. Arizona time, every Monday. The call number is 888-586-1680. Plan ahead. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. You can see I like talking. I'm good at it. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.